Yes, happy morning, people. So, continuing our marathon discussion, now we are starting with Accounting Standard 7 that talks about construction contract. This particular standard AS7 is applicable for the architects and engineers who build an asset, not for their own usage, but for someone else. Like an architect, they build a house and they give it to the customers, right? For such people or such entities, AS7 gets triggered. And why we wanted the standard was, let's take this example. Let's say there is one architect company called A Limited. They're contractors basically. They build an asset and give it to whoever that they want. Let's say one customer has approached this architect company A Limited saying, I want a building to be constructed. A 5-floor building customer wants to be constructed. Architect company is saying, no problem, I will do it for you. And I need how much money? Architect company is charging the customer 10 crore rupees for this construction. And architect company is saying we need about 2 years for this project to get completed. Now the question is, should this A Limited, for A Limited this 10 crore is a revenue. Do you agree with me? For A Limited this 10 crore is a revenue because they're getting this money. The question arises that should A Limited recognize, book this 10 crore today because contract is signed today, or should they book it after 2 years? Why after 2 years? Because the building will get completed after 2 years. So when should this company A Limited book the revenue? There was some confusion regarding that. To sort out those confusions, AS7 was introduced. Okay, when, etc., when the revenue should be recognized, to what extent, how much cost should be recognized, all that clarity is given by Accounting Standard 7. That's the background behind AS7. Okay, we'll talk about those in questions. Don't worry about this example. We'll take more questions on the similar lines. I just wanted you to give a background of AS7 is all. Alright, now people, as far as AS7 is concerned, there are two types of contract. Fixed price contract, cost plus contract. Fixed price contract means this example. What is architect company telling the customer? Give me how much? 10 crore. Is this value changing or fixed? Fixed. So this is an example of fixed price contract. Cost plus contract means what the A Limited will do is A Limited will tell the customer how much ever cost I am going to incur for this building, that data I am going to give it to you. To that cost, architect company will say, I will add my profit margin. That profit margin could be 10%, 20%, 30%, whatever. How much ever cost A Limited will incur, to that they will add their what? Profit margin. And then you will get what? CP. CP as in contract price. Such a contract we call it as what, sir? Cost plus contract. Okay. Next, all these are again not that very important for exam. Quickly we'll run through. Next, there is something called segmenting. Segmenting means to show it separately. Segmenting means to show it separately. Now, let's say A Limited has entered 2 contracts with the same customer. A Limited has entered contract with the same customer. How many contracts? 2 contracts. One is constructing building in one area. Another contract is constructing the same type of building in another area. 2 contracts company has entered with the same customer. Now the question arises is, for accounting purpose, should we treat these 2 contracts as separate or should we treat them as one? Should we treat them as separate and account them separately, or can we combine them and make them as one? If you are treating them separately, we call it as segmenting. Okay. Now it's not plain answer. AS7 says if you want to separate the contract or segment the contract, there has to be certain conditions that should get satisfied. Those conditions are: 1, a separate proposal should be sent. For both the contract, you should not send one proposal, you should send separate quotation or proposal should be sent. And negotiation should have done separately. Negotiation should have happened separately. Now, A Limited should not tell, if you give me contract number 1, if you give me contract number 1, on contract number 2, I will give you 40% discount. What is A Limited telling? If you give me contract number, building number 1 contract, I will construct building number 2 at fair price or 40% discount. Now, do you think negotiation has happened separately or together? That should have not happened. If you want to separate it, negotiation also should have happened separate. Separate proposal, separate negotiation. Third criteria is the revenue and the cost of all the contract you should be able to identify separately. Contract 1 ka revenue and cost you should be able to find out separately. Contract 2 ka revenue and cost you should be able to find separately. If all the 3 are satisfied, then you will segment. Segment means what? If any of this condition fails, then you will do what? Combine. That's all it is. Okay, Naji? Can I move forward? Okay. Next one. Sir, and it's not just 2 contracts. Huh? Segmenting does not mean there has to be 2 contracts. Even you can combine 10 contracts also. Just for example, I used 2 contracts, right? All right. Moving forward, there is something called additional asset. What is this additional asset ka concept is? Now, let's say, sir, government wanted a flyover to be constructed. A flyover to be constructed. Let's say initial plan was to construct a flyover worth how many kilometers? 2 kilometers. And we are the contractors and we got the contract. We got the contract from the government. What was the initial plan? To construct a flyover for 2 kilometers. Later, when the work started, maybe 1 month down the line or whenever, after the work got started, government told, why don't we make it to 3 kilometers? Instead of 2 kilometers, let's extend it and make it to 3 kilometers. Fine now. Now, how many kilometers got added here? 1 kilometer. Yes, no. This 1 kilometer in AS7 terminology, we're calling it as additional. Fine now. Now the question arises, whether this 1 kilometer ka asset, should we treat it as a separate contract or should it be treated as a part of old contract? This 1 kilometer should be treated as a separate contract and accounted separately, or should it be merged with the old contract? That's a provision we are about to discuss. Yes, sir. Now, if you want to treat this 1 kilometer as a separate asset, if you want to treat this 1 kilometer as a separate contract, there are some conditions to be satisfied. That condition is, 1, if you want to treat additional asset as a separate contract, 1, that additional asset should differ in terms of design, technology and usage from the original asset. Meaning original asset ka character and additional asset ka character should be same or separate? Separate. Original asset ka character, nature and additional asset ka character is different. That is condition number 1. Or additional asset ka price you should negotiate separately. That additional asset ka price you should have done a separate negotiation and not negotiated with original contract. If one of these 2 conditions are satisfied, then you can treat that additional asset as separate. Otherwise, you will combine. Now look at this example. That 1 kilometer extra flyover, is it different from original flyover or more or less same? Means condition number 1 for this example satisfied or failed? Failed. Because original flyover 2 kilometer, additional flyover 1 kilometer, more or less character are same. It is just an extension, yes or no? But if this fails, you can also check another one. What is that? Negotiation. If you have negotiated this 1 kilometer ka price separately, you have an option to treat them as separate contract and do the accounting. All right. Next one, a small concept called incentive payment. Usually what happens in construction contract is, if you complete the work before time, you will get some extra money, some bonus. That we call it as what, sir? Incentive payment. Like here, let's say, take this example, same. There is one architect company, they are building a building for a customer. The price is how much? 3 crore. Architect company is telling, I need how much time to construct this building? 24 months or 2 years. Now the customer is telling this architect company, if you complete it within 20 months, what is the original deadline? 24 months. The customer is telling this architect company, if you complete it within 20 months, I will give you extra 25 lakh. Other than 3 crore, I will give you extra 25 lakh as bonus. Yes, sir. This particular 25 lakh component bonus is what AS7 terminology may we call it as what? Incentive payment. Got it up? Meaning is clear? Now the question will arise, when should this architect company account to this 25 lakh? When should this architect company account to this 25 lakh? Today or at the end of the contract? When? Yes, there is some confusion because contract can go for how many years? 2 years. So when should we book? Today or at the end of first year, at the end of second year? When? For that, AS7 is giving a clarity that incentive payment you can recognize as revenue provided two conditions are satisfied. One, the contract should be sufficiently advanced to say that the specific performance standards will be met. Second one, incentive payment should be able to measure it reliably, or in simple terminology, sir, if you want to book this 25 lakh as revenue, okay, you should have a reasonable assurance that you will achieve this target. Architect company should have a reasonable assurance that they will complete the target. When will you get this 25 lakh? When will architect company get this 25 lakh? Only if they complete the construction within 20 months. Now let's say 15 months is over. Construction has started. How many months are over? 15 months is over. 95% of the work is already complete. 95% of the work is already complete. Now what are the chances you think of receiving 25 lakh? Good or less chance? More chance or less chance? More chance. That means what? You have assurance you will get it. Then book this revenue. Then book this revenue. Okay. There's no percentage defined. Okay. That the onus is given or the responsibility is given on the company itself. If the company has a reasonable assurance that they will receive this particular amount, then only book the revenue. Okay. Now for that, we'll have to practically you will have to justify the auditor also. Okay. I mean, obviously auditor will ask, how are you justifying it? Give me with some data. So that that becomes an auditor and management discussion. Expert opinion, you could say there, right? Fair enough. This is condition number 1. Second one is you should have a reasonable assurance that you will receive the money. It should not be like our government promise during election. I will give you star, moon, Neptune, Jupiter, everything they will say. After election, goinda. That should not be the case. You should have a reasonable assurance that you will get this incentive payment. How much you will get, you should be able to measure it reliably. If these two, both of them are satisfied, then only you can recognize incentive payment as a revenue. Otherwise, this is okay, not a big deal. These are some small concepts. So usually from this standard, what we see is the segmenting is one area. They will make a theory questions for 1 or 2 marks we have seen come up. Otherwise, they will give you 4 to 5 marks ka numerical questions. Okay. All right. That numerical, before we get to the numerical, there's one small, I think this portion will cover, and then we'll get to the numerical part of it. Now, when we talk about accounting of AS7, there are 2 methods of accounting permitted for construction contract. One is percentage completion method. Another one, completed contract method. Same thing, you would have done it in your costing also. Percentage completion method, completed contract method. One of the 2 you will go for. Sir, is it a choice, sir? No. Sir, first of all, what does percentage completion method mean? Percentage completion method means what? You recognize the revenue based on percentage. Meaning if 20% of the work is complete, if 20% of the work, if it is complete, then you can recognize 20% of revenue. If 70% of the work is complete, then you can recognize 70% of revenue. As simple as that. Revenue is based on percentage of the work completed. As simple as. Okay, sir. Sir, when will you go for percentage of completion method? AS7 says you can go for percentage completion method provided outcome of the contract you can measure reliably. Contract ka outcome you can measure reliably. Sir, when can you measure the outcome? If you want to say outcome can be measured reliably, 4 criteria should be satisfied. 1, from this contract, revenue you should be able to measure reliably. Cost you should be able to measure reliably. Percentage of work you should be able to measure reliably, and benefit should flow to the entity. If all these 4 are satisfied, we say contract ka outcome can be measured reliably. Then only you can go for which method? Percentage method. Pretty much common sense. Sir, first one is what? Revenue should be measured reliably. By completing this work, how much money you will get, you should be able to tell reliably. Basically, contract price you should be able to measure reliably. Suppose our Shri Nirav Modi or Vijay Mallya gives you one contract now. Can you 100% with 100% conviction, can you say, I will get this money? No, right? So first condition is saying that only. How much revenue you will get, you should be able to measure reliably. Okay, because you are recognizing revenue only based on percentage. No? If revenue itself, if you cannot measure, then can you book it properly? That's the first condition. Now, second one is, sir, when you do a construction, you'll only get the money or you'll also have to spend the money. Revenue you will get from customer. But to construct this building, architect has to hire laborers. They have to purchase materials. They may have to outsource some work. All the subcontract, etc. will be there. All that is what? Cost. So cost also you should be able to measure what? Reliably. That's the second condition. Now, which method you want to recognize revenue under? Percentage. That percentage itself you should be able to measure reliably. How are you saying 20% work is completed? That percentage you should be able to measure reliably. That's condition number 3. Fourth one is benefits should flow to the entity. You should have a reasonable assurance that you will collect the money from the customer. It should not be go in the scenario, right? You should have a reasonable assurance that the customer will pay you that particular money. If all 4 are satisfied, we say what? Contract ka outcome you can measure reliably. Only then you can go for which method? Percentage of completion method. If outcome cannot be measured reliably, then compulsorily you will go for which method? Completed contract. Okay, Ji. Don't be misled by the term, by the name. What is the name saying? Completed contract method. Completed contract method does not mean you will book revenue only after completion. No. What completed contract method says is, okay, how much ever cost you have incurred, listen to this, how much ever cost you have incurred, that much revenue you will book. If you have spent 1 lakh rupees as cost, how much revenue you will book? 1 lakh. So basically revenue is also 1 lakh, cost is also 1 lakh. How much is profit? 0. So in completed contract method, you don't book any profit. That's all it is. Completed contract method does not mean you will book the revenue at the end of the contract. No. You will book the revenue to the extent of cost. Like that. You don't need any percentage here. How much ever is cost, that much revenue you will book. Fine, people. But for all our examination, you will get this. Percentage method is what the question is examiner usually tries to ask. Because this is very simple. No? They will give you cost in question and you will say, revenue also same. It becomes a one-liner solution. Hence, this usually doesn't get tested. This is what usually comes up. So far, any doubt? No. Okay. Sir, how do you measure this percentage completion, sir? You know this already. Tell me, sir, how do you get the percentage of completion? You have done it in costing also. Cost incurred till date divided by total estimated cost into 100. Very simple. Suppose the total cost estimated is 10 lakh. For a particular contract, total cost estimated is how much? 10 lakh assumption. Sir, you have already incurred, you have already spent, let's say 2 lakh rupees cost. How much you have already spent? 2 lakh. That means, can you tell me how much percentage of cost is already incurred? Total cost is how much? 10 lakh. Out of 10 lakh, how much you have already incurred? 2 lakh. How do you get that percentage? 2 lakh divided by 10 lakh into 100. How much is that? 20%. Yes or no? If you do 10 lakh ka 20%, what are you getting? 10 lakh ka 20% if you do, what are you getting? 2. That's all it is. Yes, sir. So this is how you get the percentage of completion. If you want to express this as formula, what will be the formula? Tell me, what is this 2 lakh? Cost incurred till now or till date divided by 10 lakh. What is 10 lakh? Total estimated cost. Since you want it in percentage, we multiply by 100. That's all is your formula. There are multiple ways to get percentage of completion. Okay. But for exams, for numericals, we will only use this. Others we have discussed in class, they're not that important. We will leave it there. Okay. This is what you will be applying for exam. Okay, Naji. Next. Sir, if again, we already told, if you're going for percentage of completion method, if 20% work is completed, what are you going to do? If 20% work is completed, what are you going to do? 20% of the revenue you will recognize. How much ever is your contract price, 20% of that you will recognize. Why 20%? Magic number. No. If 20% is work completed, 20% of the total revenue you will book it in the current year. Sir, what about cost, sir? Cost, how much ever you have spent in the current year, that much you book it in the current year. Cost on actual basis. Cost on actual basis. Revenue on percentage basis. That's the funda of which method? Percentage completion method. Revenue based on percentage, cost based on actual. Do you think these two numbers will match? Huh? Do you think these two numbers will match? No, they may match, they may not match. The difference between these two is nothing but contract ka profit or contract ka loss. That will be as simple as that. Proceed. Okay. All right. Sir, excuse me. Sir, if you, let's say, revenue you have recognized, you applied percentage of completion method, you recognized a revenue of, let's say, 2 lakh rupees. Assumption. Revenue you have recognized how much? 2 lakh. Is it necessary customer would have paid you 2 lakh in the current year? Revenue, how much you have booked in your books? 2 lakh. Is it necessary customer would have paid you 2 lakh immediately? No, customer would have paid you 3 lakh also. You might have collected advance from the customer. Yes, or customer would have paid you only 1 lakh. And customer is saying, I'll pay you after 60 days. Possible. That means you may have to collect some extra money from the customer, or you may have already collected some extra. Possible. That we call it as amount due from the customer or due to the customer. Amount due from the customer means the customer is your debtor. He has to still pay you some more money. Amount due to the customer means you have collected some advance. You already collected more money. Yes, people. That is expressed in formula. Cost incurred till date plus recognized profit minus recognized loss minus something called progress billing. If you do this, you will get something called amount due from the customer or due to the customer. By applying this equation, if you get a positive number, that means customer is your debtor. You will show it as an asset in balance sheet. By doing this, if you get a negative number, that means you have collected advance from the customer. So that means you will show this customer on the liability side. Yes, people. I had given you pen example in our regular class to explain this logic. Now I'll not go into too much of logic of things. We'll focus on what is necessary for exam here. Okay, Ji? All right. Sir, progress billing means what? Progress billing means what? Sir, how much have you billed it to the customer? How much have you billed it to the customer? That we call it as progress billing. Okay. So progress billing is given by two things. Sometimes they will use some terminology. They will say progress payment received, progress payment to be received. Progress billing means total bill sent to the customer. Okay, so if you take progress payment received and progress payment to be received, you will get the total amount of progress billing. Yes, Ajay. Or if some of you are looking at me weirdly, maybe I'll give you one small example. Okay, sir, let us say I am a pen dealer. I'll give you the same example just to give you a context. I am this pen dealer. I'm this pen dealer. I will manufacture this pen and I sell it. I manufacture this pen and sell it. My total manufacturing cost is 100. My total manufacturing cost is 100. Sir, do you think anybody will sell it at cost price? Huh? Do you think any entity will sell the goods at cost price or they will add their profit? Okay. Let's say my profit margin is 20%. My profit margin is how much? 20% on cost. So how much it is? 100 ka 20%. How much is it, people? 20. Correct? Huh? Yes, sir. That means what is my selling price? 120. Easy. Easy so far. Sir, my customer has already paid me an advance of 70. My customer has already paid me an advance of how much? 70. Can you tell me how much more money I have to collect from my customer? How much more money I have to collect from my customer? Totally how much more? I have sold this pen. I've sold this pen to my customer and my customer has already paid me how much advance? 70. How much more I have to collect? 50. Okay, this 50 I want you to express in equation format, plus minus format. Tell me. You'll take cost to, and then what did you do? You'll add profit. Then what did you do? You deducted the advance. In advance, no, in AS7 terminology, we call it as progress billing. Now tell me the equation. Instead of cost, we call it as cost incurred till date. We call it as cost incurred till date. Profit means what? Add. Progress billing means minus. That way you will get amount due from the customer. Understood? Huh? Is it necessary every time it has to be profit? No, we can actually modify this example. Let's say cost is still how much? 100. But now economy is in recession. Nobody is buying my pen. So country is in recession. Nobody is buying my pen. But I have already manufactured. I don't want to keep this inventory in my factory. I want to sell it. I decided, okay, I will sell it at a loss of 10. I will sell it at a loss of 10 rupees. That means what is my selling price? 90. Possible? Sometimes you can get that as well. Now customer is all I've sold and customer has already paid me an advance of 60. Now tell me how much money I have to collect from my customer. How much money I have to collect from my customer? Am I selling it at 100? Now what is my selling price? 90. 90, how much they've already paid? So how much more I need to collect? 30. Now express this in equation for me. How did you get 30? You took cost. Profit is there or no profit here? In fact, what is it here? Loss. Loss means plus or minus? Minus. And what is this? Progress billing or advance? What did you do for that? Minus. Now tell me from here to here, how did you get in full equation? Cost incurred till date plus recognized profit. Profit is not there. Minus recognized loss. Minus what? Progress billing. Do that, you will get to know how much money you have to, more you have to collect from the customer. As simple as that. Okay, Naji? Okay. Sometimes this cost incurred till date, no, they will give you another fancy term called work certified, work uncertified. So normally, when especially construction works and all happen, you will appoint a primary engineers, and primary engineer will approve the work. He will inspect and he will approve the work. Then only amount will get released. So that's what we mean by work certified and work uncertified. Work certified means the engineer has approved. Work uncertified means it is yet to get approved. Doesn't matter whether it is approved or not yet approved. Cost we have incurred, no. So cost incurred till date is nothing but addition of two things. Work certified plus work uncertified. Sometimes in the problem, instead of giving you cost incurred till date, they will give you work certified and work uncertified. How do you get cost incurred till date? By adding these two. That's all. Okay, Naji? Fine. And the last concept is AS7 also works on conservatism concept. AS7 also works on conservatism or prudence concept. What does conservatism or prudence concept say? If there is any loss anticipated, you wait or you book it immediately. Immediately. Same AS7 also says the same thing. If there is any loss expected on the contract, then book that loss immediately. Even if the contract is just signed. Even if the contract agreement is just signed, and if you get to know that it is a loss, book it where? Book it when? Immediately. Sir, why will anybody sign a loss-making contract, sir? Publicity. Marketing. In fact, in my class, I used to tell, no, when I started CA final classes, right, one face-to-face student, 3 recorded students. One face-to-face student and how many? 3 recorded students. It was 4. Still, we did almost class for 3 months. Do you think it was profitable for me or loss for me? Obviously, full going, no. What will I make? Petrol cost also I did not recover. Right? But now, obviously, now there are more than like 1,000 students there. Right? So, it's a journey. Right? Initially, I believed in myself and I took that chance. Same with the company also. Right? Excuse me. Initially, in fact, academy also same true. When we started this academy, first batch inter, I think we got maybe 10 students. I think that was a number in Bangalore. It was an old building. I think we got 10 students. Roughly, that's all. Now, sometimes we don't have space to accommodate. We are closing the registrations because we don't have space, right? That's just the case with every business. So here also what I'm trying to say is, initially, some contracts you may take it, though it is a loss, you may still take it because you want the publicity to go in your favor. And later you can recover the money from in future. Initially, companies will be ready to suffer some loss so that later they can recover. Like here, look at this example. Sir, I have made a contract with the government for a flyover. How much is our contract price? 5 crore. But I know, what do I know? To construct this flyover, minimum I need 5.75 crore. My cost will be how much? 5.75 crore. I know this. My cost will be minimum how much? 5.75 crore. But my contract price is only how much? 5 crore. So this is a profit making contract or loss making contract? How much loss? 75 lakh. When will you book this loss? I have just signed the contract with the government. I know that it's a 75 lakh loss contract. Wait or book it immediately? Book it immediately. That's all. Yes, sir. This all is the concept relating to that. Any further clarity, or can we get to the questions? Now, one or two questions, we'll take it up. Okay, this is also one popular question which has come quite a few times. So let's review this. It's there in our class notes also, study material also. It's there in few RTPs and MTPs also. Okay, anyways, check this. The following data is provided for Messrs. Raj Construction Company. Contract price is how much? 85 lakhs. Material issued is 21 lakh, out of which material costing 4 lakh is still lying unused. The keyword there is unused at the end of the period. What does this mean? Sir, we have purchased. So obviously, if you want to complete a contract, you need materials. No? If you're constructing a building, you need bricks, so cement and all that material. We have purchased how much worth of material? 21 lakh. But out of that 21 lakh, entire 21 lakh has got utilized, or how much has not got utilized? So that means how much has got utilized? 17 lakh. What AS7 says is, like your production, like for production when we did AS2, we took material purchased or material consumed. Same funda here also. We don't want material purchased, we want material utilized or material consumed. How much did you consume? 21 lakh or 17 lakh? Because no, in these sort of questions, no, they will give you a breakup of cost. They will give you various costs. We have to find out the total cost incurred till date. Unless you know total cost incurred till date, can you find out the percentage of completion? No. Unless you know the percentage, can you recognize revenue? No. So this is that wala question. Sometimes they will give you total cost incurred till date directly. Sometimes they will give you breakup. This is a breakup wala question, not your wala breakup. Okay, in exam context, breakup. So how much material has got utilized? 17 lakh. Fine now, people. In fact, I told you the logic of this also, why we take material utilized, but again, I'll not go too much into that now. Okay, labor expense for workers engaged at site. How much is the labor cost? 16 lakh. Out of which 1 lakh is still unpaid. Out of 16 lakh, 1 lakh is still payable. That means how much have you paid? 15 lakh. Out of 16, 1 lakh is still unpaid. Out of this 16, 1 lakh is still unpaid means how much have you paid? 15. Sir, do we do accounting on cash basis or accrual basis? So we want expense paid or expense incurred. So that means you will take 15 lakh or you will take 16 lakh only. We want the expense incurred. How much is expense incurred? 16 lakh. Take your calculator. 17 lakh plus 16 lakh. 33 lakhs. So far, that's what we have got. Everyone understanding? Pakka? Okay, let me modify this example. Suppose if they tell, suppose this is just a slight modification. This way also they will ask this adjustment. Labor cost paid. Labor cost paid 16 lakh. Labor cost paid 16 lakh. Outstanding 1 lakh. Outstanding 1 lakh. What will you take? 16 lakh you will take or 17 lakh you will take? Because what is the 17 lakh? Total labor expense. Expense incurred. We want expense incurred and not expense paid. Okay. We want accrued amount, not the payment amount. So accrued is how much here? 17 lakh. Understood? That's another way through which the same adjustment can be asked. Both the type we have done in our regular class. Okay. Next one. Specific contract cost is how much? 5 lakh. Due to this contract, you have incurred some specific cost. It could be whatever. We don't know the breakup. Can we add this? Of course, it is directly related. So add in your calci. How much is that? 33 plus 5, 38. Subcontract cost for the work executed, how much? 7 lakh. And advance paid for subcontractor is 4 lakh. Sir, when it is a big contract, every work we'll only be able to do it. See, we are architect company, right? But suppose when you construct a building, you need plumbing also. You need electric also. Do you think everything we will be able to do? No, we will outsource few work to some others. Some small work we may outsource because we may not have technical expertise for that. Yes or no? So here some work we have given it to subcontractor, and subcontractor is charging how much? Out of that 7, how much have you paid? 4 lakh. We want the payment amount or cost amount? How much is cost amount? 7 lakh. So add 7 lakh. 45 lakh. Perfect. That means what is the number you are showing in your calculator? 45 lakh. So cost incurred till date is 45 lakh. Yes, G. Okay, coming back to the question. Further cost estimated to be incurred is how much? You've already incurred 45 lakh. How much further cost you will incur in future? 35 lakh. Yes, sir. That means what is the total estimated cost? You've already incurred 45 lakh. Cost incurred till date is already 45 lakh. How much more cost you are expected to incur in future? 35 lakh. So that means what is the total estimated cost? 80 lakh. Any problem in these two numbers? Sir, with these two numbers, I can find out percentage. Do you agree with me? How do you get percentage of completion? Cost incurred till date, which is 45 lakh, divided by total estimated cost, which is 80 lakh. So 45 lakh divided by 80 lakh into 100 if you do, you will get percentage to be 56.25%. So in the current year or so far, we have completed how much percentage of work? 56.25%. Yes, sir. Sir, we are going for percentage method, sir. Yes. Sir, outcome can be measured reliably, sir. Assume. Don't say contract outcome cannot be measured reliably. I'll go for completed contract method. Guru, don't do all that. When they give you all this data, indirectly examiner is saying go for percentage completion method. Perfect. If it is completed contract method, they will mention in the question as what? Outcome cannot be measured reliably. Like that, there will be a specification. If you don't see that, always which method for exam? Percentage of completion method. Now, if 56% of work is complete means what is the significance? You can recognize revenue to the extent of 56%. What is the contract price here? Somewhere we saw, no? What is the contract price? Contract price is 85 lakh. Total contract price is 85 lakh. Entire 85 lakh you will recognize as revenue or only 56%? 85 lakh of 56%, that will come to this. Nana ji. Yes, sir ji. So, how much revenue have you recognized, ji? 47. How much cost? Cost is recognized on percentage basis or actual basis? How much is actual? 47 lakh revenue, 45 lakh cost. What is the difference between these two? 2 lakh 81, 2 lakh 81, 250. What is that? What is that? Profit. They have not asked to just say. So profit that you will book in the current year is 2 lakh 81, 250. That's all. Processing time or move on? Balcony. Okay, one more simple question just to give you that idea about progress billing and all. It's our class notes, question number 9. Similar question is there in a study material also. Shankar Limited undertook a contract for how much? 10 lakh. So the total contract price is 10 lakh. As of 31st March, it has already incurred how much cost? 1.5 lakh. So cost incurred till date, they have given breakup or they have directly given? Directly given. How much is that? 1.5 lakh. And it expects that 9 lakh more will be required for completing the crane. Now we are building a crane. We are not building a building, but we are building a crane on behalf of the customer. It's okay. You can build any asset. Okay. So how much we have already spent? 1.5. How much more we will spend? 9 lakh. Okay. I think this data is good enough for us to do the primary basic calculation. What is the contract price? 10 lakh. So now first let's find percentage of completion. For this we need two data. What are those? Cost incurred till date. How much is that? In fact, if you remember, all our questions I have done it in the same format in class. Same format we have followed. Format is not mandatory, your choice. Okay. Cost incurred till date, how much? 1,50,000. How much is the further estimated cost? 9 lakh. So what is the total estimated cost? Addition of these two, 10,50,000. Correct? Huh? Don't look at the solution. Tell me what is the percentage of completion? Cost incurred till date, which is 1.5 lakh, divided by total estimated cost, which is 10.5 lakh. How much? 14.29%. That's your percentage of completion. If 14% of the work is completed, what are you going to do? 14% of the revenue you can recognize. So how much revenue you will book it in the current year? Total contract price is 10 lakh. Percentage is 14.29. Multiply those two. 1,42,900. That is the revenue that you will book it in the current year. Yes, sir. You will recognize cost on what basis? Actual basis. How much cost have you actually incurred? 1,50,000. 150 cost. 142,900 revenue. So current year profit or loss? Loss. How much? These two are difference. The loss is how much? 7,100. Correct? Yes, people. But one second, hang on. Whenever you're solving this question, no, do not forget to remind yourself one provision. That is, A7 says expected loss on the contract should be deferred or booked immediately. Any expected loss should be booked immediately. So before you start solving the question, it's always a good practice to check whether it is a profitable contract or it's a loss maker. All right. Now check how much cost we have already spent. How much more we are expecting to spend? 9 lakh. Add the total. How much is the total estimated cost? Total estimated cost is 10.5 lakh. But the contract price only is 10 lakh. That means it's a profitable contract or loss making. What is the loss, sir? 50,000 is the total loss which is expected. Agreed on. What does A7 say? Wait or book it immediately. Book it immediately. How much you need to book? 50,000. But hang on. How much have you booked now so far? So far you have booked only 7,100. But how much to be booked? 50,000. So how much more loss you need to book? Out of 57,100 you have booked means how much more to be booked? What is the difference of these two? 40 to 900 additional provision for loss you need to make in your books. So why are you calling it as provision? Sir, it's a pakka loss or estimated? Because this number, no, 9 lakh, this number 9 lakh, have you already incurred or you're expecting to incur in future? You're expecting to incur in future. This may be 9 lakh or it could be little more also. It could be little less also based on economic conditions. So hence we say you'll have to make an additional provision for loss. How much? 40 to 900. Yes, sir, Ji. Okay, Naji. This is one way they'll ask the question. Okay. Sometimes they'll simply say give the treatment. Treatment means you'll have to give out impact in P&L also, impact in balance sheet also. This is the impact where? P&L. Next, you need to give the impact in balance sheet. In balance sheet, you'll have to show customer either as an asset or as a liability. Tell me the formula for that, or the equation for that. Amount due from the customer or due to the customer. Pen example. How? Cost incurred till date plus recognized profit minus recognized loss minus progress billing. Progress billing there. Yeah, how much is the progress billing? 1.2 lakh. Do it. How much is the cost incurred till date? How much is the cost incurred till date? 1,50,000. Plus recognized profit. Is it profit or loss? Loss. Plus 0. Minus what? Recognized loss. So, Prabhu, don't sell recognized loss 7,100. We have to recognize totally how much loss? Totally how much loss we have to recognize? 50,000 is a total loss we need to book. Yes, sir, in totality. So minus recognized loss is how much? 50,000. Minus what? Progress billing. How much is the progress billing? 1,20,000. Do this and tell me. You get a positive or negative? Negative how much? 25,000. That means 20. Okay. Negative 20,000. Yes. Correct? No. Okay. Now that means this customer you will show it as an asset in your balance sheet or as a liability in your balance. That's what we have written here. This customer should be shown in your balance sheet as a liability. There's another way they'll ask. Okay, Ji. Alright, I'll just give you a ledger clarity for better understanding purpose. Now, one more question of study material, we'll take it. Question number 11 in our class notes. X commenced construction contract on 1st April 2013. The fixed price of the contract was agreed as how much? 2 lakh. Total contract price is 2 lakh. Company has incurred 81,000 in 2013-14. This is not 1 year ka data. This is 2 years ka data is what they have given. Company has incurred how much in first year? 81,000 of the cost they have already incurred. For 45% of work. Awesome. Why? So normally percentage we have to find out. Here we have to find or already given. Already given. But in the first year, 45% of the work is already over. And we have received how much from the customer? 79,000 as progress payment. This is the data for which year? Year 1. Year 1, year 2 can we call it? So this is the data for year 1. Cost incurred in next year, that is year 2, was 89,000. And to complete the rest of the work. So that means what is the total period of this contract? 2 years. First year we spent 81. Second year we spent how much? 89. So should we have to worry about percentage or given? Given. Okay. What they've asked is to prepare P&L account and customer ledger they've asked. That was the requirement of the question. Ledger you have to prepare, but for better clarity, we have solved journal entry in our class that we will review. Okay. You tell me the journal entries. You tell me the journal entry. This is where you speak and I listen. Okay, I'll give you a hint. First year, how much work complete? If 45% work is complete, what is the significance? 45% of revenue you can book. What is the total contract price? Total contract price is 2 lakh. Take a calculator. 45 2s are 90. So 2 lakh of 45% is 90,000. Yes, no. So 90,000 revenue you can book in the current year. Yes, sir. What's the journal entry for credit sales? What is the journal entry for credit sale? Debtors to sale. So simply you can say debtors account debit to revenue account. Yes, sir. Or you can also call it as contract asset also, not a big deal. Fine, huh? Yes, sir, people. Here they've asked debtors ka ledger, I'm just calling it as debtors. So debtors account debit to sales or revenue account. How much you will book it in first year? 2 lakh ka 45%, which is 90,000. Any doubt? How much money you spent? How much cost you incurred in first year? 81,000. What's the journal entry for expense paid? What is the journal entry for expense paid? Expense account debit to bank account. Fine. So contract, that way just calling it as contract cost, or you can call it as expense only, not a big deal. Expense account debit to bank account, how much? 81,000. Easy, Naji. Sir, this expense where it will be transferred? P&L. So what is the transfer entry? P&L account debit to contract cost. This revenue, where will you transfer? P&L. What is the transfer entry? Revenue to P&L. That is a 4 entries. Easy, na? Everybody okay, na? Yes. How much money you received from the debtor or the customer in the first year? How much money you received from the customer in the first year? 79,000. What's a journal entry for money received from debtors? Bank account debit to debtors. This 4 entries affects your P&L. This entry affects your ledger. Now we will have to post it into ledger. Can't you post this in ledger? Now when you prepare P&L ledger, okay, give me the posting. When you open P&L account, what will you post? Where will you show revenue? Debit side or credit side? In P&L account, you will post revenue or contract prices. How much? What is the journal entry amount? 90,000. So in the first year, you will book, all these numbers are in thousands. Huh? Okay. So contract revenue, you will book it as how much? 90,000. Where will contract expense come? Debit side. How much cost you incurred in first year? 81,000. So you will book 81,000 as a contract cost. 90,000 revenue, 81,000 cost. So first year, you will book a loss or profit? Profit. 90 minus 81 gives you a profit of how much? 9,000. This is the P&L account for first year. Easy. Easy. Second year what you will do? Second year what you will do? How much? Sir, now second year work pending fully completed. Fully completed, right? So fully completed means how much did you complete? Can I say 55%? 45% was completed in first year means balance 55 will be completed in the second year. Or if you don't want percentage, not a big deal. How much is your total revenue? 2 lakh. How much you have already booked in first year? 90. How much is pending? 1 lakh 10. That will be booked in second year. Here, 1 lakh 10,000. Yes, no, sir. And what is the journal entry for that if you want? Debtors to revenue and revenue to P&L. 1 lakh 10,000. Either do it as percentage or as balancing figure. Correct? What is the cost you incurred in second year? Check, they must have told you. How much spent in the second year? 89,000. What's the journal entry for cost incurred in the second year? Expense account debit to bank account, and that expense will get transferred to P&L. Now these 2 entries you'll have to post it in your P&L account. What is the entry? Or what will be the posting? Revenue you will come on the post it on the credit side. Cost you will post it on the debit side. Revenue minus cost will give you profit as a balancing figure. That's all. This is ledger ka posting. Done. Now these entries, there are 2 entries affecting debtors ledger. That simply you'll have to post it into debtors ledger. Tell me the posting. First posting for debtors ledger is what? In debtors ledger you will post it as 2 contract price or 2 revenue. How much? 90,000. Correct? First year, how much money you receive from debtor? 79,000. This one, when you post it into debtors ledger, the posting will be what? By bank account 79,000. We want to receive in the first year how much money from debtor? 90. But we recovered only how much? 79. That means how much is still recoverable? 11. So that will be your closing balance. Closing balance of first year will become opening balance of next year. So 2 balance brought down 11,000. Correct? Yes, sir. Mine went off. Yours. Christopher came. No. Jim. Okay, it's still there over there, no? Okay, I'll trust you on that. All right. No, sorry. Here also it came. Thank God. Okay. Now, second year ka. How much is the revenue you booked in the second year? 1,10,000. So what will be the posting? In debtors ledger, you will post it as to revenue or to contract price 1,10,000. Fine. If the work is completed, but means what? Any payment will be pending or fully you will receive? Fully you will receive. How much is that full amount? 11,000 you have to receive as opening balance. 1,10,000 more you have to receive now. So totally how much you will receive? 1,21,000 balance. That's all it is. This is another way. Not that popular, but I think once or twice it has come. Okay. People, if at all you are relying only on this marathon and trying to crack the examination, not the ideal scenario, okay, then don't worry too much about the number of questions. Focus on the concepts, all right? Questions, whatever we have done here, plus maybe last 2-3 attempts ka RTP, MTPs, try to cover it up. At least that is a reasonable assurance, okay? But if you want to clear on a pakka note, I have told you what you need to do. Study mat question, RTP, MTP question, easy. Then you don't need any faculty's help, nobody's help. Everything will be in your hands. Okay, if you are skipping something, you are taking a chance, because every question or every type of question has been tested once or the other. Every question in your study material has come in the exam once or the other. So which one will come, we can only guess, but we can't say with certainty. Sometimes our guesses will work out. That's the reason I never play that guessing game. I never give those important questions and all. I just give LDR questions. If you remember a regular class, last day revision questions. You should revise it once. But I never say this will come, that will come, because I don't know. Because see, when we are sitting in this position, no, I feel you should be ethically very, very watchful of what you say. Suppose I say this question will come in exam. Some of them may blindly trust, right? And if it comes, I will be like literally boosted to the sky only. If it doesn't come, they'll feel dejected, yes or no? I trusted that guy, nothing came, not even one question came. What did he teach you? Right? So I don't want that. So I don't want to give unnecessarily the promises which I don't know whether it's going to get fulfilled or not. My job is to cover. Clearance is entirely yours. So as much as I personally feel, if you are in student phase, you should never look for the shortcut. The more and more shortcuts you look, the more and more difficult it's going to get further for you. See, for me also this is very easy. This marathon I don't have to take. I already have 2 marathons. I can ask the team, rerun it, republish, or I can tell the students, refer that. I don't have to come from Bengaluru to Chennai, 7:30 to 2 o'clock. I don't have to shout, right? Because it is there. But I feel it's a moral responsibility at least to do it once in a year. Marathon at least. Because we have taken fees, you look for revision as much as possible, because at the end of the day, we need to manage our course and other things also. So that's the reason we have coming here and doing once again. So when we are not looking for shortcut at your stage, you should not look for shortcut. And I'm not taking a single rupee for this marathon. Neither from you nor from the academy. Absolutely zero. Right? Whatever we are doing, absolutely zero. Correct. I'm not kidding. Right? But it's okay. It's not money oriented thing. It is just a responsibility, a moral responsibility. I personally feel it's good. If suppose some of you clear and come to me and say, sir, I cleared the exam. Though the clearance, as I say, clearing is only your job. You don't have to give credit to any of the faculty. Whether it is a rank, whether you pass or whether you fail. Total credit to you only. But still, it feels so nice. Though I'm not on social media, still many people message on LinkedIn saying I be cleared, sir, and all that. It feels nice. Right? So it's a feel-good factor. For that feel-good factor, I'm here. Not for the money. Okay? But at your stage, please, please, please don't go for that shortcut method. I will only study for 10 days. Tell me how to clear exam. If you go for that approach, no, maybe some more you will clear CA exam. After CA examination, what you will do? You will join one company. There you can't apply shortcut. There 10 hours work means you have to work for 10 hours. Practice means there is no time only. Sundays also you might be working. Deepavali, Diwali, Eid, Christmas also you may be working. Because it is your own thing. There is no time zone there. Right? So when you go too much into shortcut, it will be difficult. whatever is required to be done at a particular phase in life, you should do. I'm a big believer in that. If it's time to enjoy, you should fully enjoy. You should not even think about studies or books or faculty, parents or nothing. Bindas, enjoy. That will come after examination. But right now, this next 2 months, it's for you to buckle up and study. Stay. No second thoughts. I will study 8 hours, so I will give this. Nothing. I will study how much ever the hell hours I need to study to complete the syllabus. As simple as that. Put this notion into your head. Throw all that number of hours. So throw all the distractions out. Anything which is distracting you, throw it out. If mobile phone is distracting you, put it on silent. Put it on airplane mode. Better. If Instagram, other grams are distracting you, uninstall it. I'll tell you a trick. You can reinstall it later. Everything will come back. Okay, it will never go forever. And trust me, it's okay. Initially, you will feel fine. 1.5 years over. I've uninstalled Facebook and Instagram. I don't feel a pinch of it. I feel like an aram, so I have so much time. No disturbance at all. Otherwise, every one time puya notification will keep coming. Will keep doing. In that doing only 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 6 hours will go off. People say we don't have time. You don't have time. Open your mobile phone and check digital well-being. You'll get to know how much time you are spending on your social medias, each app. Then you ask yourself that question, I have time or I don't have time. So at that moment, whatever is, I'm not saying you to uninstall, okay? For me personally, I felt much more peaceful after uninstalling. So I did that. What you want to do, you decide. That's for you, okay? But hook or crook, you have to make sure that you give your best this attempt. And this attempt has to be your last attempt, at least in your head. Never think, is this sufficient? Will it come? Will I pass? All that negativity after exams. As of now, in your mind, you are like, I am writing exam, I am collecting degree, moving to final. Ashte. I will see who will stop me from clearing examination. That should be the attitude, not arrogance. Okay? And you should back that attitude with your preparations. How much ever? 10 hours, 12 hours, doesn't matter. I will do whatever I want and I will clear. When the attitude becomes like this, no, you will get people, everything you will get in your life. Trust me, like I've lived that. Even we also face skepticism sometimes, right? That fear feeling. Should I do it? Should I not do it? See, when I came down to Chennai, I don't know how many of you will come. There could be zero audience also, no? Right? That means I have to teach only for the benches. So there is a skepticism, but I can't come with that attitude. I'll be like, it's okay, we'll see. If I have to teach to the benches, I will teach to the benches only. No problem, we'll see. So when your attitude becomes like that, invariably the universe will reward you always. Okay, so just keep that. That's happened in my life on a lot of things. So I believe in this. So I trust, at least if not anybody, you start believing in yourself. You don't have to trust anybody, but trust yourself, and more importantly, execute what needs to be done. Do it. If you do that, things will definitely work your way. Sorry, time up. Let's proceed. Yes, sir. I think AS7 ka all the concepts and questions we have done for. Thank you.